Yeah, they're back. Like that back pain or the pimple that just won't go away. Good morning, I'm Rock 107's Prospector. It's the return of the QuranTune. I started doing a bunch of these more than 2 years ago when quarantine began. Little did we know then that not only would COVID keep going around, but some of the same people would keep getting it again. This one's to the tune of the original hit song Crimson and Clover. It's another QuranTune on Rock 107.
I got all the vaccines, but they didn't do anything. What a crappy feeling. I keep getting COVID over and over. Keep getting COVID over and over. Keep getting COVID over and over. Keep getting COVID over and over.
Wide this month. The Mars Candy Company partnered with a condiment brand to make it. Each jar is filled with around 7 ounces of Snickers in powder form. This isn't the first time a candy's been turned into a seasoning. Mars released a Twix version last year, which I literally just saw at Sam's Club in Dixon City yesterday and said to my wife, what would you put that on? Turns out it's supposed to be for things like ice cream and milkshake, maybe pancakes, frozen yogurt, mostly desserts. But, hey, toss it on your spaghetti or steak. Let me know how it goes. The Snickers version should be available everywhere by the end of the month.
Toss out your salt and pepper shakers, because now you only need one seasoning to sprinkle on any food to make them more tasty. It's Snickers flavored seasoning. Sprinkle Snickers on your fried eggs or steak and potatoes.
Wow, that's really sweet.
Turn your corn on the cob into a sweet and tasty treat.
Kind of want my salt shaker back.
Chocolate, caramel, and nuts.
Yeah, it tastes like a Snickers bar, all right.
Snickers flavored seasoning.
Do they sell diabetes insurance?
Your taste buds will sing.
WTF.
Breaking the news that's already broken. It's time for Prospector's Briefs on Rock 107.
Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson has been suspended for 6 games for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy. The league has a strict rule. You can only demand a happy ending at a massage parlor if you're the owner of the New England Patriots. Vladimir Putin was caught on camera unable to use his right arm. The only thing we know for sure, he didn't injure it by putting on a shirt. As I mentioned, Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson has been suspended for 6 games for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy. Good. Now we can get back to it being limited to an on-the-field injury when we hear about an NFL player with a pulled groin.
Making sure breaking news stays broken. Tune in tomorrow for Prospector's Briefs on Rock 107.
Quirky and cranky, and that makes for a lot of awkward interactions.
What a jerk.
Help Prospector learn from his mistakes. It's time for Am I a Jerk? On Rock 107.
Sometimes you try and do something nice, the right thing you think, and it bites you on the backside. Just such a tale here. I went for a ride on the Rails to Trails ride. The one that starts outside of Mountaintop, heads down towards Jim Thorpe and all that. I was heading to Whitehaven when I spotted a purple thing on the side of the trail. So I slowed down and wanted to see what it was. As I got close, I noticed it was one of those soft-sided coolers, those 6-pack type coolers, just lying there on the trail. It was open, it was dry, a little dusty. Now, when it comes to the outdoors, I was always taught if you bring it in, you bring it out. So I'm like, some Yambag left it here, doesn't know better. I'm going to pick it up and I'll take care of it. I put it in my Camelback and I rode away. When I got to Whitehaven, I grabbed a sandwich and I threw that soft side cooler in the trash. On my ride back to Mountaintop from Whitehaven, some guy flagged me down. He's like, hey, have you seen anyone with a faded purple cooler? I left it by the trail to dry out, and I walked into the woods to get some pictures of the lake, and now it's gone. Sorry, man, I didn't see anything. I lied right to his face, and I rode off. Does that make me a jerk? What do you think, Rock 107?
No, you're not a jerk. The dude should went back and picked it up. Tell you how you lose a cooler, dude.
He didn't even lose it. He said he left it there so that it could dry it out.
Why? What's the theory behind that?
I didn't stick around long enough to get the theory behind it. I just figured I'm going to get going. David says, I probably would have kept my yap shut. It's a tough call, but in an outdoor situation like that, better to live and let live. You're not a jerk here. Lacey says, yeah, should have just been honest. Being honest is better than being a liar. It's easier to apologize for a mistake. And Tiger joining in saying the right thing to do would be to tell the guy what happened. But am I a jerk?
Yeah, I think you're a jerk on this one. You should have just manned up and told him.
Should have just said, hey, look, I thought it was garbage and I chucked it, huh?
Yeah, if he wanted to save it and dry it out, he should have took it with him. Shouldn't just leave it somewhere like garbage.
But I'm still a jerk for not being honest about it.
Yeah, I should have just told him. That way he wouldn't keep looking for it then,
Rock 107.
Hello, no, you're not a jerk.
I'm not a jerk. You're okay with this whole scenario?
Oh, definitely, because people throw garbage everywhere. You never know.
You never know. And I figure I'm doing the right thing. I'm cleaning up Northeast PA for crying out loud. I got a little pride in NEPA. Cindy says, liar, you should have been honest. But Mary Ellen, oops, you did a good deed cleaning up, but yikes, it wasn't actually trash. If you had admitted it to the man, you threw it out, there could have been a confrontation, so you were safer to lie. I say you're not a jerk on this one. Bob says, I would have just said, oh yeah, I saw a fellow throw one out a while back. You're not a jerk. What do you think, Rock 107?
Yeah, I don't think you're a jerk on that, but if you thought of it quick, you could have told the guy you stopped for a sandwich down the trail and you saw one in the garbage can.
Yeah,
that would have been a good one.
I wasn't that quick, I didn't even think of it.
Yeah, that would have been a good one for him.
In the question today of am I a jerk for grabbing a cooler laying on the side of a rails to trail thing, just sitting there alone, thinking it was trash, trying to be a nice guy for the environment, throwing it away down the road, but then lying to the guy who asked if I saw that cooler? The answer is slightly, I am not a jerk.
Life's pretty tough right now. There's plenty of bad news, but it's not all bad. It's time for the brighter side of Prospector on Rock 107.
America's longest-serving mailman just celebrated 70 years on the job. His name is Johnny Bell, and he's worked in Oklahoma City his entire career. He's in his early 90s now, and when he started in the 1950s, he made a whopping $1.81 an hour. Now, he still sorts and delivers mail, and he could retire whenever he wants, but at his party Friday, he said he sticks around because he still enjoys the work.
Thanks. We needed that. The brighter side of Prospector on Rock 107.
Social media gave everyone a voice. Wouldn't it be better if some people had laryngitis? It's the wisdom of Twitter. The most amazing tweets of the week. Twitter handles have been changed to protect the stupid. On Rock 107.
I'm confused, tweets. Bill Russell died? Hate to say good, but maybe now he won't be putting pills in people's drinks and wearing those stupid sweaters. Who has a map, tweets? Monkeypox has made it to Houston. I'm packing my bags and moving to Texas. I can't stay in a diseased country any longer. And Almost Nothing writes, they say Beyonce has a new album out. Fake news, Drake Z keeps her under wraps.
The wisdom of Twitter.
What's a bull says, ever notice cows have girls' names? That's how deep misogyny runs. It's consuming animal names. Where are the boys' cows' names? Should be obvious 21 asks, why is it that so many rich kids have rich parents? Hashtag unfair. Hard to argue, 570 writes, I use Dawn dish soap as my body wash. If it's good enough to clean ducks, it's good enough to clean me.
The wisdom of Twitter.
Doesn't quite get it, says, now we got monkeypox, that's it, canceling my trip to the zoo. Hashtag safe. Can't be serious, 383 asks, how can I ensure my first daughter is a girl? And time for some trimming, 93 writes, my 4-year-old daughter just screamed, your front butt has too much hair on it, in a public bathroom.
The wisdom of Twitter.
In mouth breather or cretin.
It's now time to announce the winner of Prospector's Yambag of the Day, as decided by you at rock107.com.
Here are the nominees. Nominee number 1,
When you're running from the cops, don't pick a getaway vehicle with a top speed of 3 miles an hour. Last Thursday, cops got several reports of some idiot in an SUV driving recklessly in a parking lot near San Francisco. The guy's name is Josh Smoke, and he's 41 years old. When cops showed up, they realized there was a warrant out for his arrest, so they tried to arrest him. But he ended up fleeing the scene on a paddleboard. He ditched his SUV, dove into a nearby canal, stole someone's stand-up paddleboard, and started paddling away on it. Cops tracked him for about 2 blocks until he emerged from the creek, and then they arrested him. The original warrant had to do with vandalism and assault, but now he's also facing charges for obstruction, giving a false identity, and theft charges for stealing the paddleboard.
Nominee number 2.
You can learn to do almost anything by watching YouTube videos. Again, that's almost anything. Some guy in Brazil ended up in the ER last month after watching YouTube tutorials and trying to give himself a nose job. Yeah, he literally cut into his own face while he was awake, and he's not the first person to try it. YouTube has to remove at-home rhinoplasty videos all the time to prevent other people from doing it. And as you'd expect, it never goes well. It could even kill you if you go into anaphylactic shock. This guy showed up the ER with his nose all jacked up and infected, and he said he used an anesthetic from a vet to dull the pain while he did the surgery on himself, but he didn't use gloves or clean the wound at all. He's trying to make his nose thinner and stitched himself up afterwards. It sounds like he also used super glue to close that wound. Doctors treated the infection and sent him home. They referred him to a specialist for more treatment and told him to start seeing a therapist.
And the winner is
the guy who tried to give himself a nose job using YouTube tutorial videos. Yeah, it didn't work, but hey, at least you're the Yambag of the day, and we'll move on to Friday's Yambag of the Week competition. Keep it here for all the nominees for Prospector's Yambag of the Day, weekday mornings on Rock 107. Thanks for listening to Prospector's Prime Cuts podcast. Be sure to catch us live weekdays from 5:30 to 10 a.m. on Rock 107 or online at rock107.com or the Rock 107 app, a free download for your Android or iPhone. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, or wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss Prospector's Prime Cuts.